All right, last time we got one task. Now it's time for us to do the update part. So not just getting things on their own, but we need to be able to update our tasks as well. So there's clearly a lot of tests in here. Let's go ahead and find them in our test file, and we'll put an only on, and then we'll remove these skips. So. Yeah, that's all of those. Okay. We'll save you. That should be good. And I should be able to run our tests again. I think with these, I'm creating users for each test because I have a before each on it. One test is already passing, so well that's good. Should not be able to mark other users' tasks as completed. So we're expecting to basically get some kind of error message for that. So that's good. All right, so should be able to should be able to mark a task as completed. Mark a task as not completed. All right, so we'll just go through one at a time and sort of figure these out. To begin with, we probably want an update task. Now, because there's a lot of stuff here, I want to look at what they're expecting. So let's find this first one. Should be able to mark a task as completed because I want to know if this is a put, is it a patch? Oh yeah, so this one is going to a different URL. So it's our base URL, task, the task ID, and then completed, and it's going to be a put. Okay, so it's a put to that, which will mark it as completed. Okay, so let's just work on that specific one first. Now I'm okay with tasks creating a just an update task, and we'll have like a few different routes inside of here. So update tasks. All right, so this is going to be mark completed, I believe. So we'll have a pub async function mark completed. Let's also head into our router and add that in here too. So this is tasks. We'll update tasks, mark completed. And we'll put this above the middleware, but below everything else. Okay, so route API v1. Okay, this is tasks. We have the task ID and then completed. And then we remember that this is a put. So import you and put the name of the function in there. Okay, great. All right, so mark completed. What do we need to do this? We need the user. So we probably want to make sure we can't do someone else's task. So we're gonna need the user. We're gonna need the path. Okay, so let's do path first. So we have path. It's gonna be the task ID. So path. We know that this is gonna be an I32. Okay, great. What's next? Well, we need the user. So this is an extension with a user inside. That's extension. And this is a model. Okay. We need the database. So that's a state. So our DB, that's going to be state with a database connection inside of it. All right. Is there anything else that we necessarily need in here? I don't know. If I do remember, we're gonna grab it out then. Okay. We're gonna return a result. I don't know if we expect to get anything back. Let's take a look at this. So we Axios post. Oh, look at this. I'm not even getting anything here. We're just hitting this. We're not passing in any data whatsoever. And then we're testing the database itself to make sure that it happened. So we're going to return nothing and then an app error. Okay, let's throw a to-do in here. Okay, so let's see. So we have this path extension states. I think what we could do is just do the update at this point. So we can do no, it would be we need the entity. So we have this database here. I can just use this. So we have tasks, entity as tasks. And then inside of here, we're going to do tasks. Now, I need to grab it. So we're going to do let. This is going to be our task to update. It's going to be singular. So we're going to find by ID. We'll use the task ID. We want to filter this out so we can only do our own. So that's going to be tasks column user ID is equal to a sum user.id. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to filter out necessarily? I don't think so, because even if it's already marked as done, if we're just trying to mark it as completed again, I think we just sort of set it to a new date. So I don't necessarily think there's a problem there. Okay, so we'll get 1 db, we await, we map the error. Okay, so error. We'll do an eprint line. Okay, so error, getting task to update it. And then we'll create an app error. Okay, this should be an internal server error. Insufficient storage. How did I get that? I want internal server error. And then this is just an error happened. So an error happened. Sorry. We return you. We question mark you. Now that gives us an option here. Now, if this is an error, okay, so let's do our. We want to turn the task into an active task. Okay, so we want to turn this into an active task if we have it, and if we don't have it, we want to return an error. Okay, so I'm gonna shadow task here. So this is gonna be an if let sum. We have this task equals task. Okay, so if we have the task, I'm gonna do task and then something about an active into active model. That's what it is. We return that. Now, otherwise, we're gonna do a hard return of an error, app error. We'll have a status code of not found. And based upon that last error that we had in the last one, we're just going to put not found in here. and semicolon U. Okay, so now we have a task and this is an active model, so we can make changes to it. And the only change we want to make is to set the completed at to a new date. So specifically, we go into our database, we want you to become, where is this? Completed at, it's gonna be an option. Okay, so that's gonna be a sum. We want this date time with time zone. Okay, so I think we can do that with chrono here. So let's come back to update tasks. So I want let's do now equals, can I just, no, I can't really just do now. REST Analyzer won't really find this. Let's go searching. So I think it's somewhere under like UTC. Okay, so use chrono UTC. There we go. Now, okay, that gives me a date time. Now, can I turn this into a date time with time zone? So format, date naive. We can maybe do an into. There is a naive local and a naive UTC. Timestamp doesn't seem right. Time zone, no, that's probably not right. With time zone, which is a date time with a time zone. So maybe this is what we want. Although this has, oh wait, no, this is setting what time zone it's going to be. That's not what we want. We want with like the user's time zone. And maybe this will just work. I can't remember what we did. We did this before, especially during the lessons. We had this in. Wait seconds. Okay. Let's just do this and sort of see what it yells at. Okay, so we have a now. I want to do a task dot completed at. We want to set you. So we want to be a set. So import set. That's going to be a sum, and with now, let's see how much it hates it. Okay, so it expects mismatch types, expected struct, chrono, date time, fixed offset, found date time UTC. Okay, so we want a fixed offset. Now, first of all, can I do an into? No, I can't do an into. Oh, wait, can I assign to it? Okay, maybe I can. Mute. That doesn't need, okay, can I assign? Oh, now, okay. Now it doesn't need to be mute2. The task needs to be mutable. Okay, here we go. Mute you. Oh yeah, I can just do an into. Perfect. Okay, so once we have that set, and this is the only thing we need to set to mark it as complete, then we're going to do a task dot save. Pass it a reference to the database. We await. We're going to map the error. Okay. So an error. This is going to be a another eprint line. So we have error saving. I guess like error marking task as completed. Pass in that error, and then we want to return an app error. So this is going to be a status code internal server error. And I guess this is going to be like error while updating completed at. Okay, so that gives us this new task. It's been saved. We don't need to return anything. So if it's done the thing, we don't really care. Which means now we're ready to just return. So we're going to return an OK with that. And that should be happy. Argument never used. Well, that's because I forgot that. All right. You're happy now. Let's run the test. Let's see at least if we get past this first one. Maybe? Hey, okay, so we got past the first one. We've also done another one. So we should not be able to mark others as completed. We should not be able to mark others as not completed. Okay, so 3 tests passing now. That's great. Should be able to mark a task as not completed. Okay, so what does this look like in our tests? So should be able to mark a task. So this is actually going to an uncompleted route. So it's very similar, except we're going to be setting that to be a null. So let's go back into update task again. This is actually should be very similar. I'm going to just copy this and then we're going to update it. Okay, so we have a mark uncompleted. Let's go ahead and pull this into, let's see, so our mod needs to, no, our mod doesn't need to know about this, just router needs to know about this. So we have update tasks, mark uncompleted, and then a new route for this. So task ID, I think it was uncompleted there, and then mark uncompleted here. Okay. Back to update tasks. All right, so we have the path again. We have the extensions and the state. Okay, great. Find by, okay, so we find the task by the ID. That's good. If we don't find it, we just not found it. If we do find it, I don't need the new timestamp at all. Completed at, we're going to set this to a none. That should set it to be a null. And then we save you. Okay. So then this is going to be an error while updating. Well, okay, that's the same thing. So let's see if this makes this test pass. And if so, that will be a fast second sort of follow-up to it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we successfully uncompleting the task. Okay, great. Next up, we should be able to update all the fields in the task. Okay, well, what does that mean? Let's go into our tests here. So we should be able to update all fields in the task. Okay, so we create a task. Here's what the initial task looks like. We're going to do a patch on this, and we're going to pass in the update task. And the update task is going to have a new priority. It's going to have a title, a description, and a completed at. So we need to like at least update these fields. Okay, and it's going to be a patch. So we're only necessarily doing pieces of it. We don't necessarily need to handle an atomic update. Okay. Let's head back into here and we're going to create, just because it's easier to sort of grab all these things, and I think they're very similar. I'm just going to once again copy you. And this is going to be fairly different. This is going to be like update task. Let's go bring that into our router too. And we will add you in here. Okay, so we have a path, task ID. I think if we do this with just a patch, come on, select you. a patch, and then you're going to be just update task. Okay. Update task. We have our task ID, we have our user, we have our database. We also need to take in the task, don't we? So this is going to be a JSON object. Now, what are we taking in? Let's take a look. So this is going to have priority, title, description, and completed at. So we have a request task, priority, title, description, and completed at. Okay, so if I add you in, so description completed at, you're going to be an option with a string, which is going to be fine because we don't really care. We're just going to throw that in there, or maybe we need to parse it out. I'm not sure. Now, title, we might not take in. So this may need to become an option now with a string. That's going to be fine, but it's going to cause one of our other things to break. Maybe? Maybe not? Nothing's yelling at us yet. Okay. Well, if it does break, we'll go fix it. Okay, so update task. So this is going to be a request task. So we're going to want a JSON extractor. This is going to be the request task. That's going to be JSON and request task. Okay. We have to make sure that this goes at the bottom because it consumes the body and nothing else can extract out after the JSON happens. Okay, so we have our request task here. So first of all, we find the task. That should be exactly the same. We turn it into an active model. That's also great. Now we do the actual update. So in this case, let's see what we're setting. So we're going to do task dot. Well, we can't do ID. We can do completed at. So task dot completed at equals set. Well, this is set to none. We want to set this to be. Oh, it's also going to be a date time fixed offset. I wonder if I can actually just. I wonder if Surday will work with this. In completed at. I wonder if I can just do that. Can't find you. So import you and then import you. Hey, okay. So it looks like Surday is going to be able to import this in exactly as I need it, which is going to be great. So that means your set is now going to be the request task dot completed at. And that's already an option in there, so that's great. Okay. We don't need this completed at set anymore. Okay, what's next? We have task dot so completed at deleted at. I don't believe we're changing right now. Description. Okay, this is gonna be a set. Now, is this right? Because it might be a none, but if it's a none, that actually means we're not really changing it, is it? So I actually want this to be to check to see if it exists in the field. Oh, but then you know what? We also need to check to make sure that we're not purposely setting it to none. So these all need to be double options, which double options are not natively supported by Surday. But there was a crate that we used, which I kind of forgot what it was. So we may have to go look at our the data section and just remind ourselves in cargo.toml what we used. I think it was it in here or was it in one of the other ones? So here's Serde. I think was it Serde with. It might have been Serde with. Let's go take a look at crates. It was Serde with. Serde with. There we go. And somewhere in here, I believe was a double option. Oh, it's not in their documentation out here. So it's not on their landing page. But inside the documentation, is there a search for option? Here it is. Double option inside of here. Makes a distinction between a missing, unset, or existing value. So if we explicitly set to null, it will be a sum none. Otherwise, it'll be a none if it's just missing. Okay, so this is what we need to do. So we need to pull in Serde with. So I am going to stop my cargo watch. We're going to do a cargo add Serde with. And okay, so chrono. Well, there's chrono, there's JSON. Those two features, I'm not completely sure if we need them or not. I don't remember. Well, I mean, take a look here. We don't need them clearly because everything seems to be working. If it's changed since I've last used this, it will obviously break for us. So I'll keep these in mind just in case we do need them. But until then, it is installed now. Let's restart our server. It's cargo watch dash x run. I'll just sort of let that go in the background. It's probably going to fail because I'm in the middle of writing this. Okay, so in our mod for this, so request task. Okay, we need to go remember how this works. So we drive serialize and deserialize. We have the struct, and then we have this Serde with, and then that's going to be for each one. That might have to be for each one. I don't remember off the top of my head. I do remember it felt annoying. So that would be request task. So let's say if the priority is missing, I want you to be an option is none. Okay, so serialize. Oh, and then you need to be an option here now, right? Yeah, okay. So we're going to add an option over everywhere. And then I think we have to do you for all of you. So, hey, title might be option. So if we're missing, now actually, is this true? I cannot unset the title. So I cannot remove the title. So this is fine. If the title is set to something, we're just changing it. Otherwise, we're not doing anything to it. Like we can't remove it. The description, however, so let's move you down. The description we can actually set to a none. So you become an option like that. Completed at. This is also like we can set you to a null if we're uncompleting you. So this can be an option like that. Okay. So back to here. We're gonna have to change this around a little bit. Let's let's look at our database to sort of guide us. Database tasks. So we can't change the ID at all. We're not going to try to, but the priority we can set to none because we can have no priority, or we can have a priority set, to whatever we set to. Okay, so this is the first one, and we've got our priority set to this option. So I'm going to remove you two, and we're going to start over this. Okay, so if let sum, this is going to be so if let sum priority equals, this is going to be the request task dot priority. Okay. We have the priority and then it's an option, right? So if you're set, we're updating it. Now, if you're a something, I want to set you to be whatever this is. Otherwise, it's a nothing. But I think at this point, I can now set it to be whatever this is. Because if it's a none, it's going to, okay. So now we can then do the task, which is that mute active model. We do a priority equals a set priority. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Now we just repeat this for everything else. So go back to here. Next up, title. So if let sum title equals request task dot title. So we're going to do task. Now this is already just a string, so it's actually this. It's exactly the same. So task dot title equals set to title. Okay, great. What's next? Completed at is next. Okay. So if let sum completed at equals request task dot completed at. Okay, so we have that option in here, and it's that datetime fixed offset. So I think we're still good. Task dot completed at equals to be set completed at. Okay, no errors so far. Description. Okay. If let sum description equals our request task dot description task dot description equals, we want to set that to be the description. Okay. Deleted at, I don't know if I want them to delete at using this method. I believe we have a completely different system for marking deleted at. I don't want anybody to assign it to a new user, and I don't want us to be able to set it to like not or be default anymore. So I think that's it. I think that's all we need to do. Then we're at description. Then we save the task, and we're good to go, and we don't return anything at all. Then the test will check the database and make sure it's good. Let's see if this works. So back to our tests, and let's see. Hey, okay, and everything passes. So we now are successfully updating the task. Okay, great. Let's, now I don't have any warnings, so that's good. Let's go and remove that only. So we'll run all the tests and make sure that everything is still working the way we expect it to. Which I can't imagine it's going to, but you know what? We did add like the option for the request task, so that could actually cause problems in the like the create task potentially. So let's see if that's the case. No, everything is still working as expected. Okay. Well, this is the reason why we have tests, right? We could just make those refactors, and if everything still works, then we're good to go. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to GitHub. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.